What's going on, collectors? Welcome into Ross Loves Cards. Today I want to share a card with you that my wife got me for Christmas. A 1936 Jesse Owens. As you can see, this is a black and white. It is the 1936 Reimstema, or I'm sure you can tell I can't pronounce it correctly. But it is in an SGC3. For this card, I think it is a great grade. I mean, I just love this card. The back's in German. If you want a challenge, go try to translate that. But 1936 Jesse Owens. I wanted this Jesse Owens card because his name kept coming up in the books I was reading and just connections that he had with people. Here recently, my boy finished a book called Who Was Jackie Robinson. Now, as you can see, this is not that book. This is Who Was Jesse Owens. I bought this for my boy. We enjoyed Who Was Jackie Robinson so much that we bought this one. But pretend this is Who Was Jackie Robinson. We've lost that book somewhere. Anyways, in the book Who Was Jackie Robinson, we learned a lot about stuff other than just Jackie Robinson. It brought up about Cool Papa Bell, Josh Gibson. I forgot his name for a minute. Learned about Cool Papa Bell, Josh Gibson, and Satchel Paige. Just in passing, just a few sentences my boy read about him, and he thought that was cool. And, you know, I did too. It was kind of a fun experience. So I'd pick him up from school, and we'd go drive to pick up his sister, and he'd always read to me on the way. Read that book. So maybe we'll start this book tomorrow. But Who Was Jackie Robinson mentioned about his Jackie Robinson's brothers. One of his brothers, Frank, who died in a motorcycle accident, but his other brother, Mac, was an Olympic athlete. And this is my Jackie Robinson. Only Jackie Robinson card I have. I showed it in my last video. But Jackie's brother, Mac, won silver in Germany in 1936. And who won the gold is none other than Jesse Owens. So I thought that was cool that he had a connection to Jackie Robinson. I remember after reading that book, Who Was Jackie Robinson, we was down at the card shop, me and my boy, and we was going through there, and my boy said, hey, Dad, there's Brooks Robinson. Is that Jackie's brother? I wanted to say, have you seen Brooks Robinson? But anyways, I didn't. I said, no, that's not his brother. And we went on. Then he seen Frank Robinson. He said, hey, that's it. And holding up for him, he did have a brother named Frank. But I guess we need to be getting into some more vintage baseball cards or watching some more YouTube videos. It was just neat being there and him remembering certain things and connections in his mind, even though they weren't there. It's a good memory for me. But when I think about this card, I think about Jackie Robinson, his brother getting silver, and Jesse Owens getting gold. Another book that I read brought up a connection was Our Team. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Our Team. Highly recommend it, talking about the 1948 Indians. But I read in that book about a race being staged. There was a race by the fastest Cleveland Indian. Bill Veck set this up. You know, kind of a showman. He set up between the fastest Indian and none other than Jesse Owens. They're going to set up a 100-yard race right there so the crowd could see. And the fastest Indian was George Case. I found it interesting. George Case used to play for Washington, and I believe it was on the 41 play ball card. I was reading the back of it. I learned that George Case's birthday, November the 11th, that's when me and my wife got married, so I thought that was interesting. Also found it neat that he played for Washington, And according to that play ball card, his middle name's Washington. So his name is George Washington Case. Just thought that was cool. But here is his exhibits card. George Washington Case is who this race was set up with Jesse Owens by Bill Veeck. Now, Jesse Owens won the race. In the book, Our Team, it sounds like it was hands down easily won by Jesse. I read another account where they said there was 1/10 of a second that separated them. And they said the time, I can't remember. It seems like they said Jesse's time was 10 seconds and was 9.9 seconds and his was 10. I don't know if there's any truth to that. I don't know who was keeping that stopwatch. I don't know if one of them let off at the end or how close or how they was comparatively at. But this race took place. Connection to Jesse Owens and vintage baseball cards. Another book I read, Just Call Me Minnie, about Minnie Minoso. Read that when he went to Chicago, he was staying at this house with a family members. He's staying with this one family, I guess I should say. And there was another person that came up that didn't speak real good English, and Minnie decided that he would move out to let that other person stay with that family to kind of get adjusted to the area. And when he moved into a hotel or a motel, whatever you want to call it, where he moved into, Jesse Owens was the general manager of that motel or hotel. So I thought that was cool, that he was a hotel manager in Chicago. The last connection I found interesting was to Joe Black. Joe Black, after he retired from baseball and was teaching for a while, he went to work for Greyhound buses. Helped with, we'll say, race relations. You know, when they was ending segregation, he was brought on to help with certain things. And they was headquartered in Chicago. Well, they moved their headquarters to Arizona. And I believe it was 1970 or 71 or 72. Strangely enough, that was about the same time that Jesse Owens moved from Chicago to Arizona. Joe Black, he moved for a job. Jesse Owens moved for health issues. Thought it would be better out there for his health to be in Arizona. I found it interesting when reading the book that his daughter, that Joe Black's daughter, co-authored. Reading that book, she would talk about, at times, that Jesse Owens and his wife would look after her. When Joe was gone or busy, she would go there and they'd kind of take care of her as if she was her own. So they'd watch over him. And I thought, you know what, that'd be pretty cool just to have, of course you got to think, her dad was a professional baseball player, but then to be watched by an Olympic athlete, a four gold medal winner. In 1936, I believe he won it in the 100, 200, the 4x100, and the long jump. So won 4 gold medals there. How cool that would have been. Couldn't help but think, couldn't help but be tickled. She also mentioned that Bill Cosby would also watch her from time to time. And I got to thinking, if she'd have wrote that book today, I wonder if she would have left that part out of there. But either way, I thought it was cool that Jesse Owens and his wife was the ones that would look out for her. But his connection to baseball, I mean, it's easily overlooked, but you can see that he had connections to it. Whether it was from racing against and beating Jackie Robinson's brother Mac, or whether it was from the race set up by Bill Veeck to race George Case. Or whether maybe it was managing the hotel that Minnie Minoso stayed in Oklahoma. Where did that come from? I have no idea. In Chicago and Oklahoma, people get that confused all the time. So anyways, the hotel that he managed. Or watching the daughter of Joe Black. Jesse Owens, for me, when I look at this, I can't help but think of vintage baseball and them connections there. But I hope you all enjoyed this, maybe learned of some connections you didn't know, maybe thinking, where did Ross come up with this? Either way, go ahead and leave me a comment down beneath and tell me where I went wrong there. But I sure appreciate you all watching, and I hope to see you all on the next one. Thanks.